Most people think confidence comes from shouting louder, reacting faster, or proving their worth. Machiavelli knew the opposite. Power belongs to the person who cannot be disturbed. In the next few minutes, you will learn how to become untouchable, emotionally, mentally, and strategically, so that no insult, no betrayal, and no pressure ever rattles you again. In a world where people poke, provoke, gossip, and attempt to shake your confidence, you might feel like you're constantly defending yourself. Today, we solve a universal problem: how to stop letting anyone bother you, not by being passive, but by adopting the cold, calculated strength that Machiavelli taught to rulers who could not afford emotional weakness. When Machiavelli speaks of power, he does not begin with armies, alliances, or gold. He begins with the mind. Because before a ruler commands a city or a kingdom, he must first command himself. And nothing reveals the strength or weakness of a person more clearly than what disturbs them. In every court, in every workplace, in every social circle, there are people who thrive on provoking reactions. They test you not with weapons, but with words, glances, rumors, small acts of disrespect designed to shake your equilibrium. And the moment you react emotionally, they learn something precious. They learn where your weak spot is. Machiavelli would say that the greatest danger a human being faces is not the enemy outside the walls, but the enemy living inside their own chest. That inner enemy is the impulse that rises when someone disrespects you, ignores you, underestimates you, or tries to sabotage you. You feel a storm inside you demanding a response, a confrontation, a defense. But the moment you obey that storm, you give others control over you. You begin living according to their moves instead of your own strategy. And just like that, your power erodes. A man who is emotionally sovereign, however, becomes impossible to manipulate. He holds the throne of his own mind. He does not allow someone's tone, someone's attitude, or someone's opinion to dictate his internal state. He understands a fundamental truth. Machiavelli taught rulers, the one who cannot control himself will never control anything else. A prince who panics becomes predictable. A leader who is easily angered becomes easy to provoke. A person who wears their emotions openly becomes a public map of vulnerabilities. And those around him, opponents, rivals, even friends, will navigate that map whenever it benefits them. Imagine someone insults you in front of a group. The average person reacts instantly. They defend themselves, they snap back, they show indignation. But what do you think happens in that moment? The crowd watching learns that your emotions sit close to the surface. They learn that you can be pushed. They learn that you can be distracted. And in the political arena of human interaction, that knowledge becomes ammunition. Suddenly, people who once wouldn't dare challenge you now know exactly how to get under your skin. You become easy to maneuver, not because you lack intelligence or strength, but because you surrendered your internal sovereignty. Machiavelli's advice is far more ruthless. Remain unmoved, not passive, not submissive, not weak, simply unshaken. When someone tries to bother you, let your expression stay calm, your mind still, your posture unbroken. This does something far more powerful than reacting ever could. It confuses them. It threatens them. It makes them question whether their attempt failed or whether you are simply too strong to be touched. That uncertainty is a weapon. You gain psychological dominance without saying a word. People fear those whose emotions they cannot read. They fear those who do not flinch. They fear those who remain composed even under attack. And fear, Machiavelli reminds us, is a far more reliable foundation of respect than admiration. But emotional sovereignty is not only about stopping others from controlling you, it is also about giving yourself the clarity needed to make sharp, calculated decisions. When you are calm, you think like a strategist instead of reacting like a victim. You begin to see patterns. You notice who provokes you regularly, who stays silent when they should defend you, who watches your reactions with interest. You start to understand motives. You start to understand alliances. Without even trying, you rise above the emotional chaos where most people live. Every time you refuse to be bothered, You train your mind to detach from impulsive reactions. You train yourself to move with purpose rather than emotion. Machiavelli knew that emotional control is the birthplace of real power because it allows you to choose your battles, not fight every provocation. It allows you to walk away from insults without losing dignity, because true dignity comes from not needing to prove yourself to anyone. It allows you to speak only when words are strategic, not when they are emotional. And most importantly, it allows you to maintain the throne of your inner world, which no enemy can conquer unless you let them in. Understand this. When you react emotionally, you reveal your hand. When you remain calm, you force others to reveal theirs. Over time, this imbalance becomes an empire in itself. People treat you differently when they know their words cannot disturb you. They become hesitant to provoke you because the unpredictability of your calm intimidates them more than anger ever could. Anger shows you care. Calm shows you do not need their approval, their acknowledgement, or their validation to feel powerful. In every age of history, from royal courts to modern offices, those who ruled effectively were not the loudest or the most reactive. They were the ones who remained composed even when surrounded by chaos. They were the ones who could not be shaken, not because they were emotionless, but because they mastered their emotions rather than being mastered by them. And once you reach that level of internal discipline, external disturbances lose their force. A whisper of gossip becomes insignificant. A critic's words lose their sting. A rival's attempt to provoke you becomes almost amusing, because you finally understand the deepest Machiavellian truth. A person who cannot be bothered cannot be controlled. When others attempt to provoke you, Machiavelli would not advise meeting fire with fire. That is the path of the predictable and the weak. Instead, he would advise a more cunning approach to transform every insult, every slight, every act of disturbance into intelligence, a tool to strengthen your strategy. In the art of power, every attempt to bother you is not merely an annoyance, it is information. It tells you what people desire, what they fear, and where they believe your weaknesses lie. Those who know this secret are never victims. They are observers, analysts, strategists. Consider the nature of insults. They are not always random. They are often calculated. When someone speaks sharply, criticizes publicly, or seeks to embarrass you, they are revealing something of themselves. Their attack reflects their own motives, envy, fear, ambition, or desperation. Machiavelli teaches that a wise ruler does not respond in kind but studies the person. Who benefits from your reaction? Who seeks to undermine your authority or confidence? Who hopes that your temper will betray your judgment? Each attempt to disturb you is a window into the political, social, or professional landscape surrounding you. If you respond impulsively, you hand the attacker more than satisfaction. You hand them control of your narrative. But if you observe quietly, you gain leverage. Imagine someone attempts to provoke you in a meeting, a negotiation, or even a casual encounter. The common reaction is immediate defense or retaliation, revealing that the disturbance has succeeded. But Machiavelli would advocate a pause. Watch, listen, evaluate. The words spoken, the timing, the tone, the body language, all of these are clues. Someone who insults you publicly may be testing your influence, seeing whether you can maintain control. Someone who speaks subtly may be planting seeds of doubt, trying to manipulate perceptions among others. Every disturbance is a piece of the puzzle of human intent, and a ruler who can assemble these pieces gains clarity that others cannot. Machiavelli knew that perception is often more powerful than reality. When someone tries to bother you, their action is not only an attack, it is a test of perception. They are probing to see if you are as strong, as confident, as intelligent as you appear. To respond in anger or panic is to admit the test is successful. To remain composed is to rewrite the perception. But beyond perception, every provocation offers practical intelligence. It reveals alliances and rivalries. It exposes insecurities. It shows who is bold enough to challenge you and who will follow your lead. A ruler, a leader, a strategist who can extract this information without reaction wields a power far greater than those who react impulsively. Furthermore, Machiavelli understood the value of using provocation strategically. Once you recognize the intentions behind an insult or disturbance, you can employ that knowledge in your own plans. Perhaps someone constantly tries to unsettle you because they envy your position. You now know their ambitions and can counteract them. Perhaps a critic challenges you to mask their own failings. You can observe when they overreach. Every attempt to provoke becomes a mirror, reflecting the vulnerabilities and desires of those around you. This mirrors the concept of turning every disadvantage into an advantage, which Machiavelli considered essential for survival and ascension. The mastery of this strategy also cultivates patience, which is a weapon in itself. Those who rush to respond allow others to dictate the pace of events, but the person who converts every annoyance into insight controls the tempo. They can choose when to act, when to strike, and when to let matters unfold naturally. By observing without reacting, you appear almost untouchable. Others begin to test the limits of your calm, only to find themselves unable to provoke a response. Their repeated failures teach them that their attempts are useless and their energy is wasted. Slowly, the power dynamic shifts. Where once they held a subtle influence over your emotions, now you hold the invisible dominion over their expectations. It is also crucial to understand that provocation is rarely about you alone. It is about the provocateur's need to assert dominance or influence. Machiavelli would say that understanding this need allows you to depersonalize the attack. The insult or disturbance is not a reflection of your worth, it is a reflection of theirs. They are revealing themselves through the act. The wise strategist sees through the veneer of aggression and recognizes the motives beneath. This clarity frees you from the trap of emotional reaction and places you firmly in command of your own decisions. By turning insults into intelligence, you also transform what could be a liability into a form of currency. Knowledge gained from observing provocations can be leveraged in negotiations, in leadership, in social dynamics, and in planning. Those who seek to disturb you become unwitting allies in your intelligence gathering, revealing patterns and intentions that are invisible to the untrained eye. In the world, Machiavelli describes, every action of others is a potential resource. Those who understand this principle are always 3 steps ahead. They are untouchable not because they are indifferent, but because they are discerning. And this discernment, once cultivated, becomes a hallmark of respect. People learn that their attempts to bother you will serve only to reveal themselves. The power shifts quietly, almost imperceptibly. The provocateur begins to measure their words carefully, realizing that their usual tactics no longer yield results. Your calm observation converts the world into your mirror, reflecting motives, weaknesses, and desires, while your own intentions remain obscured. Those around you begin to operate under a subtle fear, the fear of being understood before you even act. This is the essence of Machiavellian mastery in the social and political sphere, turning disturbance into advantage. There is a subtle art that Machiavelli emphasizes repeatedly, one that separates the ordinary from the truly powerful, the art of showing nothing. A ruler, a strategist, a person of influence must never reveal what disturbs them. To show your emotions, to betray your inner state, is to offer a map of vulnerability to those who would use it. In the courts of Florence, in the councils of princes, in every human interaction, the most dangerous people are not those who attack openly, but those who observe your reactions and exploit your weaknesses. Machiavelli understood that control over perception is as important as control over armies. By revealing nothing, you deny others the ability to maneuver against you. Consider a simple exchange. A colleague undermines your idea in a meeting. The natural instinct, the human instinct, is to respond immediately, to defend yourself, to assert your correctness. But in that instant, you reveal more than a rebuttal can conceal. Your agitation, your sharp retort, your need to be acknowledged. they all signal that your equilibrium has been disturbed. And once that signal is sent, it can be used repeatedly. Machiavelli teaches that the wise strategist does not react. They remain calm, their face unreadable, their expression unchanging. They give nothing away, not because they are indifferent, but because they understand the leverage gained by concealment. By showing nothing, you cultivate an aura of unpredictability that is far more powerful than any weapon. When people cannot read your intentions, when they cannot discern whether a comment, an action, or a maneuver will provoke a reaction, they are forced into uncertainty. Uncertainty is a form of control. People will hesitate, they will second guess, and they will act cautiously around you. Machiavelli knew that rulers who mastered the art of concealment commanded not only respect but fear. Fear arises from unpredictability, from the realization that another person cannot be bent, provoked, or swayed by simple attempts at manipulation. Your composure becomes your shield, and the invisibility of your internal state becomes your sword. This principle extends far beyond anger or insult. Every human attempt to provoke, whether through praise, criticism, flattery, or subtle mockery, is an opportunity to observe without revealing. Those who reveal too much, even in moments of apparent calm, are predictable. They show where their boundaries lie, where their insecurities reside, and where they can be influenced. By contrast, the person who reveals nothing creates a psychological fortress. Inside that fortress, they remain free to act on knowledge gathered from others while remaining untouchable. Machiavelli teaches that power is not about responding to every challenge, it is about maintaining the position from which all challenges are assessed and controlled. The act of showing nothing is also a form of silent communication. It tells others, without a single word, that their attempts to manipulate, provoke, or unsettle you are futile. In a world where most people react visibly to stress, threat, or insult, the person who remains composed stands apart. That composure becomes a signal of authority, of confidence, of mastery over circumstance. People are drawn to those who cannot be shaken, not only because they inspire confidence, but because they communicate, without speaking, that no effort can divert them from their course. In social, professional, and political spheres, this quiet strength commands more influence than arguments, displays, or force. Machiavelli understood that those who reveal nothing are also able to observe patterns in the behavior of others. Every provocation, every challenge, every attempt at manipulation can be studied for insight. When others cannot read your reactions, they are forced to reveal more of themselves. Their strategies, their ambitions, their weaknesses, they are all exposed while you remain unreadable. The power dynamic shifts quietly but decisively. People who would normally seek to dominate you are instead navigating an environment where the rules are defined by your silence and control. You have the freedom to move with precision, to strike with intention, and to maneuver without giving your opponents the advantage of anticipating your response. Moreover, the mastery of concealment allows you to conserve energy and mental focus. When one reacts emotionally, one expends energy on the attacker, on proving a point, or on restoring perceived dignity. This is wasted effort, often with little strategic gain. But when one shows nothing, energy is preserved, and the mind remains sharp. You are free to act only when action is beneficial, not compelled by emotion. This disciplined approach, Machiavelli insists, distinguishes the prince from the subject, the strategist from the amateur. It is a force multiplier, invisible yet profoundly effective, because it leverages the psychology of others without revealing your own. The principle also extends to situations of deception and negotiation. When negotiating, when planning, when confronting rivals, revealing nothing protects the integrity of your strategy. Every piece of information you conceal is a resource, every unreadable expression a shield, and every calm response a form of control. Others are compelled to guess at your intentions, often overestimating your power, underestimating their leverage, or hesitating where boldness might otherwise serve them. Machiavelli understood that the mastery of showing nothing is not merely defensive, it is offensive in its own way. It allows you to dictate the terms of engagement without ever exposing your own hand. Machiavelli teaches that true respect is earned not by reacting, not by proving oneself, but by demonstrating a mastery over one's own stability and power. When people realize that their attempts to disturb, provoke, or manipulate you fail consistently, they shift their perception from seeing you as vulnerable to seeing you as formidable. Respect, in this sense, is not granted. It is compelled by the unwavering display of control. Those who cannot be shaken command attention, influence, and even fear, not because they seek it, but because their presence alone dictates it. In every sphere of human interaction, this principle holds. People respect what they cannot move, and they follow what they cannot bend. Consider the behavior of those who attempt to test your patience. They do so because most individuals react, showing agitation, defensiveness, or insecurity. But the person who remains unshaken removes their leverage entirely. When you refuse to allow disturbances to affect your composure, you convert their energy into futility. Their provocations no longer manipulate, no longer intimidate, and no longer serve as a measure of your worth. Instead, they reflect back on the provocateur, revealing their persistence, their motives, and even their limitations. Machiavelli emphasizes that the prince, or the person who wishes to hold influence, must cultivate the aura that disturbances are meaningless, because in meaninglessness lies the ultimate command. The path to commanding respect through controlled power requires discipline. It requires understanding that emotions, while natural, are tools to be mastered, not impulses to be obeyed. In the heat of confrontation, when words are sharp and actions are calculated to unsettle, the common individual reacts instinctively, surrendering control. The one who has cultivated internal sovereignty, however, observes without reacting, evaluates without emotion, and engages only when it serves a deliberate strategy. This control over self is perceived as strength. People instinctively recognize that your stability is not weakness, but a shield and a weapon at the same time. Your calm becomes a statement that no force, subtle or overt, can undermine you. Machiavelli understood that respect is closely linked to predictability in your own unpredictability. Those who react emotionally are easily read, their weaknesses are mapped. Those who demonstrate unwavering control over their responses are unpredictable in the eyes of others. You might remain silent when others would lash out, act decisively when others would hesitate, and maintain clarity when others are clouded by emotion. This unpredictability, combined with control, creates a form of psychological dominance. People respect you because they know that any attempt to test you will fail, and in their failure, they are forced to acknowledge your superiority. Commanding respect also involves the careful management of visibility. Machiavelli teaches that it is not enough to be strong. Others must perceive you as strong. The way you carry yourself, the way you interact in moments of tension, and the way you allow provocations to pass without disturbance all contribute to this perception. In social, political, or professional arenas, perception is power. People are drawn to those whose stability signals authority, and they are cautious of those whose composure suggests control over forces they cannot manipulate. Every calm reaction, or lack of reaction, builds a reputation that precedes your actions and influences behavior before a word is spoken. Another dimension of respect comes from consistency. When people repeatedly encounter someone who cannot be unsettled, they internalize the truth of that strength. Attempts to provoke, intimidate, or manipulate no longer excite fear or resentment because the target is impervious. The repeated demonstration of control over one's own mind communicates a message more powerful than any verbal assertion, that your power is inherent, unassailable, and independent of external validation. Machiavelli emphasizes that rulers who command respect consistently outlast those who rely on charm, aggression, or temporary displays of force. Respect, born of stability, endures, while fear or admiration rooted in fleeting acts fades. Machiavelli also notes that respect through controlled power has a cascading effect. As individuals realize that their provocations fail, others begin to mirror their recognition. Allies, rivals, subordinates, and observers all begin to adjust their behavior. They stop testing limits recklessly. They begin to weigh consequences, and they approach interactions with caution and deference. In this way, respect spreads not through force, but through the subtle, undeniable signal that you are unshakable. Those around you learn that stability is not passivity, that calm is not weakness, and that control over self is the truest form of power. Finally, commanding respect through controlled power allows you to shape outcomes rather than be shaped by them. In every interaction where emotions run high, where provocations arise, and where conflicts emerge, you retain the ability to dictate the terms. Others' attempts to unsettle you are neutralized not by retaliation, but by the demonstration of internal mastery. They may continue to act, to plot, or to speak, but they do so in a landscape defined by your composure. Machiavelli teaches that influence, authority, and respect are maximized when your stability converts potential threats into silent acknowledgement of your strength. In the world Machiavelli describes, strength is never measured by the loudest voice or the sharpest weapon. It is measured by the mastery of the self, the discipline of the mind, and the quiet dominion over one's own emotions. We have explored the first truth, that emotional sovereignty is the foundation of power. When you refuse to allow disturbances to control you, you reclaim your throne within your own mind, and no external force can unsettle your authority. We then saw that every insult, every provocation, every attempt to test you can be transformed into intelligence, a map of motives and intentions that puts you steps ahead of those who seek to unsettle you. We delved into the art of showing nothing, where the absence of reaction becomes a weapon, where your calm and unreadable demeanor forces others into uncertainty, making their every attempt to manipulate you futile. And finally, we examined the highest reward of all, the respect that arises naturally when people realize that you cannot be shaken. That respect is not demanded, it is commanded by the subtle, unwavering power you project. It spreads quietly, shaping behavior, controlling perception, and consolidating influence without a single act of aggression. Machiavelli's lessons are clear. The person who cannot be disturbed cannot be controlled. To stop letting anyone bother you is not a matter of ignoring the world or pretending strength. It is the deliberate cultivation of self-mastery, strategic perception, and disciplined control. In this way, emotional resilience becomes tactical superiority, calm becomes a form of intimidation, and composure becomes the most potent form of power. Those who master these principles do not merely survive provocations, they transform them into tools, gaining authority, respect, and influence beyond the reach of the weak and reactive. In every interaction, every challenge, every moment designed to shake you, remember this: the greatest triumph is not in defeating others, but in conquering yourself. The mind that remains sovereign, the ruler who is unshakable, the strategist who is unreadable, this is the path Machiavelli would have you walk. Those who walk it become untouchable, commanding respect not through force, but through the quiet, relentless, and undeniable power of being unbothered.